And welcome back, everyone. Oh, hold on. There we go. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to something a little bit different here. We were just notified. That the lower semifinals for the StarCraft 2 tournament is on hold, and we are instead jumping into the Brood War side of things, into the Brood War semifinals. In the top left-hand corner, we have the red Protoss. It is Tim. In the bottom right, we have the blue Terran, Gypsy. We have Gypsy, we have Tim. Hold on, let me just clean up the overlays a little bit here, but here we go. So it looks like, again, Trigger versus Mixu is going to be put on hold. It's going to be put on hold, and we are jumping into the semifinals instead. We are jumping into our TVP. Now, when it comes to the semis, I would appreciate I was going to say a link in the chat, but links are disabled, so hold on. I'll give you guys, I got you. And here we go. So there is a link in the chat that is going to be the Wikipedia page of the Brood War tournaments, and very quickly here, oh, it's not, guys, what's been, yo, what's happening with the Brood War scene, papi? Look at this, it's not been updated at all. The hell? Guys, what's happening? So the group stage is done, and the playoffs, the quarterfinals are done as well. Does anyone have a proper bracket link? Let's have a look here. But yeah, the community has not been updating the Wikipedia page whatsoever. I got you. Okay, we have the challenge. So Gypsy's up against Tim in the upper semis, and we have Striker versus Artosis in the lower semifinals. So we have our top four. Gypsy is a Canadian Terran, and Tim, I do not know. If you're a little bit more familiar with Tim and Gypsy as players, I would love to know. We'd love to know, as we do not follow much Brood War here on the channel. But we may as well settle in. When it comes to my experience with Brood War, I did watch a lot of Brood War when Remastered first came out. If you remember, back then, Spot TV, they did host the SSL. They had their own SSL for Brood War. This was like back in, I think, 2016, right? Was it around 2016? It was the SSL that was sponsored by Jin Air. When they sponsored an SSL for both SC2 and an SSL for Brood War as well. That was when Valdez and Wolf were casting. They were both casting the SSL Challenger series. So it's been a couple of years since I've really watched Brood War. So we'll be able to find out together here. Again, when it comes to the meta, very unfamiliar. Meanwhile, big shout out to Cyan in the chat. Fala galera. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session, if not that. But I assume a great stream, a great cast. Obrigado, papi, obrigado. Bom dia, papi, bom dia. But my apologies. I did want to quickly check the format. Is this a best of 5? Yes, okay, best of 5. So if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim this series. Will it be Tim or will it be Gypsy? Do I know who's favored? No idea. We're going in blind. Initially we have our initial openers, nothing crazy, no proxies, no setup across the map. True, when it comes to modern Brood War, my experience is StarCraft Evolution. We'll experience it all together, papi, together. As we do see the initial gate opener, Dragoon into Robotics facility. My assumption is that this leads into a bay and this leads into Reaver drops. My assumption is that Reaver drops, Dragoon into Reaver drop openers are the go-to and the standard in PvT. Meanwhile, we have Mech on the horizon from Gypsy. We'll see if my assumption has any validity to it. See it together. But again, it's all about buying time for the factories to get up and running. As you see, so far, our Protoss player with map control, claiming his third base, containing his opponent. And again, I would imagine we have the Bay follow-up here. We don't quite get eyes in the main. I'm just now realizing, because again, it's been a long time since I've seen Brood War, that I feel like observing is even more important in Brood War because you don't have the production tab. So you need to like visually pan over to like confirm what's being made. Like, for example, my assumption is that building being made on the left is the bay, but I don't actually know. Because we haven't panned over to it. As Dragoons are going to be forced back, the tank has arrived. And with that, Gypsy will hold. And again, it's less about breaking the Terran, but it's more about containing. Oh, the observatory. Okay, so facility into observatory, not bay. Got building up. With that, we can get into observers, get vision. Again, it's looking to contain. It's going to be up to Gypsy to build up and then break out. And he does. Does break out with his vultures. Timmy's racing back home, going for extra gateways. Okay, so he's not going for re-replay. Just going for his gate setup instead. As they do make their way into the natural, probe's going to be going down. Yeah, 2, 3, 4 probe kills. Dragoons, they do have a hard time keeping up here. Yeah, a bit of miscontrol out of Tim, or a bit of mismovement, I should say. And so far, nice damage. Gypsy, he alleviates pressure, gets into the natural. Deals economic damage. And back at home, setting up for his own third, I would assume. Yeah, pulling back, switching mainly into tank production. Out of vultures. And there's that third. Yeah, third base on location. So far, a nice setup for Gypsy. What was meant to be a contain, what was meant to be a delayed third base, fails to be the case. And oh, we're gonna settle in. We're gonna... Okay, let's go. Yeah, the academy, that's gonna be for the for scans. You do need the academy for the Constat station to get into those scans. Meanwhile, I'm curious as to the tech of choice for our Protoss player. Still Master Goon. We have the Citadel on the way. That should be for Zealot legs. So we're going from Master Dragoon into Dragoon Charge Lot. Sorry, I should say Dragoon Speed Lot. They're a little bit more ideal against mech. Zealots do a great job at getting on top of the tanks, closing that distance. They're quite cheap as well. It's very similar to how the PvT versus mech kind of composition works as well. So getting into Speed Lots. And again, we have a much slower kind of mid-game here. Much slower. How long is this gonna be? You're gonna go take a shower? Yeah, bathe yourself, Pappy. You're an animal. Bathe yourself. When it comes to the next StarCraft 2 match, it's going to be a while because we have 2 best of 5s. From my understanding, we're going to be casting both semifinals of the Brood War tournament first, and then we go into Trigger's match. So plenty of time until then. And likewise, if we're getting into mech, we're going to be here for a while. Like, our Terran player is going to be building up and maxing out on this side of the map, slowly expanding, getting a 4th base. Again, it's going to be a little bit more on Tim to try to break and try to punish as the Terran expands, as they expose themselves and spread themselves thin. Oh, we're taking up. Okay, Stargate's on the way. Temple Archives as well. We're taking up towards Storm, taking up towards Skytoss. I'm curious to see if this is when we start to transition into Skytoss or into something more supportive. Referring to like Arbiters or Corsairs for disruption webs. Again, I'm not really too familiar with like the standard tech path of where we want to go. If we do want to rush into Skytoss or not, especially against mech, against an attempted more passive mech player, where you can maybe get away with more tech. Oof. Dragoon gets picked off. And again, I don't feel like we should be pushing into the siege line, just waiting for the Terran to either move out or expand. So right now, Tim is just containing, or at least attempting to contain. Stargate is done. We have the Arbiter Tribunal on the way, so it looks like we are going to Arbiters. Arbiters are kind of like the Mothership. Arbiters, they have, of course, their passive cloak. They have stasis fields, more importantly, so they are a way to kind of break through a siege line. Think of it like Blinding Clouds, where the Arbiter can move forward, can go for the mass stasis field, and break a siege line, similar to how Blinding Clouds would operate. Of course, can also recall to find a way into the bases. Meanwhile, before the Arbiters come online, tanks move out. Tanks do move out. Catching a Dragoon. And it's all about just buying time and forcing these sieges, delaying the push. Speaking of tanks, and they're late to siege. There you go, there's a siege. From here, Tim should pull away. Oh, as he's going to try to commit. Getting on top of the tanks, okay. Zealots, they do try to break through, but with the Zealots going down, Tim has to pull back. And again, this delays the army, right? It delays the push. Gypsy was trying to move out across the map. Oh, that was a lot of Zealots, though. He's still pushing. Tim, he's missing the rotation. Yeah, he does miss the rotation. Tim's out of position. Gypsy gets past. And Gypsy, he could even just cut Tim off completely. Ah, he's chasing. Okay, okay. He's gonna give chase. Oh, can we get more volume? That's my bad. There we go. Yeah, as you can see, Tim is completely out of position. The army is actually zoned away from his own bases. Tim is what I meant to say. He's zoned out of his own bases. Tanks are pushing in, and the mech army has arrived. Yeah, the mech army has arrived. Timmy does catch a portion. Does get a couple of tanks. What's happening on the minimap? A couple of tanks go down. The Arbiter has arrived. He's here for the stasis fields. But it looks like it's too little too late. Yeah, trying to collapse in. Zealots, they get shut down. They don't really force much friendly fire. Dragoons, they come in from behind, but there are still so many tanks. Yeah, too many. Too many tanks. The army goes down. GG gets called. Then Gypsy takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. It was a little bit straightforward there. Gypsy, he was able to just build up and break out with his mech. Tim had a really hard time containing, really hard time delaying as well. I did really like the first engage, like the first push, the first attack that Tim was able to get off on top of the tanks and actually get on top of those tanks as well was great, but then he stuck around. We did mention it at the time when the tanks did siege for Gypsy. Tim kept going, kept pushing. He bled out all of his Zealots, he bled out a couple of Dragoons, and once he backed off, he missed the rotation. Gypsy went up the map, he went up the map towards top left, and Tim was staying here in the center instead. He missed the rotation, out of position. GG. GG, well played. They're actually about to show it here. So this was the initial engage, when Tim, he moved in, then we saw the tank siege, and this is when Tim had to back off. Here he had to back up, but he kept going. Yeah, here he kept going, kept pushing, he bled out most of his army, and that means that he could no longer stop the Terran. So again, here he overextended. And it led into this. GG. It's just like SC Evo. It's let's go. But GG. GG, well played. With that, Gypsy takes the lead, and now we're getting ready for game number 2. So we're getting into game 2. Spawning, why have we changed colors? Spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have the Canadian Protoss player, the Canadian Protoss, the blue Protoss. It is Tim, I believe. Gotta go for the zoom. Wait, can you zoom in Brood War? Is that and in the top right hand corner? We have as opponent, we have the, I believe, so no, sorry, it's the Canadian Terran. It is Gypsy. Sorry, Gypsy's from Canada, and Tim, I do not know. I assume is from the Americas. But does anyone know? Like, is there a zoom function in Brood War? Think you can zoom in remastered? Not sure. Okay. Okay. We gotta teach the observer how to do the swoosh. Now though, we are going to be settling in, and we'll see if we do divert from what we saw in game one, right? Game one, we saw relatively standard openers into mech from one player, of course, and into, I would say, failed containment from the side of Tim. And we'll see how we get into this. The Nexus is glowing way too hard. It's pretty intense, actually. That Nexus. Ah. The Nexus is going further beyond. Why do Protoss buildings burn in StarCraft 1 and they don't burn in SC2? True. I wish they did burn in SC2. It would have been really cool if they had kept that aesthetic. Maybe performance issues? Too many flame effects would just... just tank PCs back in the day? I don't know. I'm sure lore-wise there's like an answer to that, but it would have been nice if they kept that around. It's like in lore they just, I don't know, they came up with new energy and they stopped using like flammable gas they to power their buildings. Ah, it makes sense. For now, though, it looks like it's a 4-player spawn map, so we're checking the corners, looking for our opponents. I'm not too familiar with the name of the map. If you know, let us know. Let us know. Gibbs names. Hold on, what's the map pool for this tournament? Map pool is Dominator, Knockouts, Litmus, Metropolis, Polestar, Radion, and Roaring Currents. I have no idea what any of these maps are. Except for maybe Metropolis. Which I believe this is not. Also, thank you so much, Stan. Thank you so much for the gifts of sub. Thank you so much. Do appreciate the support. Gracias, papi, gracias. Ahí están. Hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the StarCraft. Hope you enjoy. There we go. Yeah, from here we're still just building up. We found each other, of course. It is going to be diagonal spawns on said map. What map? No idea. And again, we'll see if our players do deviate. Oh, okay. Do set up the pylon. Pylon is across the map. We'll see if we commit into something more sinister here, into a robo. Second factory is on the way. Mech once again out of Gypsy. And Tim, he is going for the proxy Citadel. Okay. that I was not expecting. Proxy Citadel, proxy gateway, going into speed lots, going into mass speed lots. Into what looks to be an all-in. He is committing. As without upgrading, can invest into Zealot legs. Takes down one of the Dragoons, not bad. Decent catch. I do apologize for the volume levels. It seems to be quite low. Actually, did it? There we go. We're okay, we're okay. No, he scouts. The vulture goes up the ramp. Does scout, does confirm. Gets eyes on the gateways. Gets eyes on the citadel as well. He sees everything. Not like this, Pappy. Not like this. Does scout, does confirm. Tim, he's also where he was scouted. And Gypsy has a wherewithal to set up back at home. Oh, okay. Temple Archives back at home. So, okay. So because Tim knows he got scouted, he doesn't have to commit anymore. He doesn't have to commit, so he's taking up. Taking up towards Storm. Looking to expand, he's backing up. It is still brutal just because Tim did invest into quite a lot of buildings and quite a lot of tech that will be thrown away. But he's not going to like try to force it and try to commit into a defensive terrain. His probe is in position to expand. Likewise, thankfully, we do see that Gypsy isn't overreacting. Yep, there's a Nexus. There's a Nexus. So again, Tim, he does deviate away from his all-in. He's not going to commit. Not anymore. Not after he got scouted. Oh, right. Citadel into Temple Archives, into DTs. There's a turret. Turret's in position. Like, in my mind, I see a Temple Archives, I think Storm. But, there's no unique building for Dark Templar in Brood War. Like, there's no Dark Shrine. You just get the Archives. True. So again, the harassing units get cleaned up. And we're in a kind of similar game state to previously here, where Gypsy's going to be building up his tanks, building up his mechs, slowly taking a third base. Oh, he breaks through. Nice control. Very nice. Baits out the spider mines. Ooh. No, Tim, calm down. It's a very nice play out of Tim. Shots on the spider mines, getting his third base up and running. Oh, as Gypsy's going for a very early move out. He gets spotted by the Dark Templar. His first scan. Oh, does he get away? He barely does. Oh, barely does not. And does pull out of vision, just barely. Oh, was unable to, I should say. Does commit across the map. Nice use of spider mines here, catching reinforcements. Ooh, 2 Dragoons go down. Punishing the proxy. Gypsy's moving in. Just wedging himself in between the third and natural. Still rallying forward. Again, I don't think Zell Legs was quite researched. I don't think. Yeah, scanning, making sure he doesn't have to deal with those Dark Templar. They don't pop off. And there's nothing to defend. There's two there, yeah. there's 2 Dragoons, baby. GG gets called, and Gypsy, he will take a 2-0 lead in the series. GG. It was a cheeky move there out of Tim to go for the proxy, but it was just so unfortunate. It was so unfortunate it got scattered. They're actually just showing the replay here. Bam. This is the moment that the Vulture did scout the proxy, and this is the moment that we saw Tim had to deviate away. Had to transition, and that was kind of a game then and there. Where the proxy didn't really achieve anything, and it allowed Gypsy to just build up back at home, build up his tanks, was able to move out across the map. There was so much invested into the Dark Templar, into the third base as well. It was a bit of a shaky start out of Tim, and with that, that means that Gypsy's up 2-0. He's up 2-0, and we'll see if Tim can start the comeback. The pressure's on. As a reminder, this is a best of 5, so one more game is all that Gypsy needs. This is Metropolis. Oh, there you go. There you go. That was Metropolis. Metropolis, man. And now we're loading into potentially the final game of the series as spawning in the bottom right hand corner. They've changed colors again. God damn it. We have the red Protoss. We have the American Protoss. It is Tim. And in the top left hand corner, we have the Canadian Terran player leading the series 2-0. It is Gypsy. Here we go. So we're getting into game number 3. And we are loading into, I would imagine this is a 3-player spawn map. That's why they panned over towards bottom left. It would make the most sense. Yeah. So 3-player spawn map instead. After the failed proxy, I can't imagine we're going to be seeing Tim committing to anything too crazy this time. What map would this be? This looks like... Litmus? No. Polestar. No. Oh. Ahí están. Estás, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for this is up to Dave Testa. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Hope you're doing well, Dave. Hope you're doing well. I know that that you weren't necessarily available to go to the offline event here to go for SC4ALL, but hopefully that whenever there's a next SC4ALL, and I'm sure there will be a next one, you're able to be there. Hopefully for the next one, you're able to be there. So take care, Papi. Take care. Look after yourself. Dave. And then next time, Papi, next time. It's all good. It's all good. Is this Dominator? Oh, let's go. There it is. Yeah, Dominator is a 3-player spawn map. Remake of Gladiator. Okay. We're learning. We're learning. We can see Timmy does scout bottom left. He's looking for his opponents. We'll confirm that Gypsy is nowhere to be found. Likewise, Gypsy does find Tim. And we're getting eyes on the setup here. Earlier Forge this time out of our Protoss. Okay. So Nexus Forge opener out of Tim. With this, we can get into earlier upgrades. Earlier +1. And of course, defensive cannons. As well as gate expand. Yeah, so we'll be able to set up here on the low grounds. And once again, I mean, I don't see Gypsy deviating. He's been playing mech this entire series. We expect that to continue. Really, our eyes are going to be on Tim to see how he does respond. That's from here we're taking up. Gonna be taking up. I think technically this was Forge Fast Expand, I guess, just because of the late Cybercore. Yo, shout out to the flame effect. Yeah, so players are building up. From here, Gateway Explosion out of Tim. And we're waiting for the extra factories from the side of Gypsy. Is this when we do something crazy, throw down extra racks and go into bio? No shot. Give us the factories. Oh my god, the sun is up. How long have we been live? Wait, what the hell? It's been almost 5 hours. Jesus. I feel like we haven't really costed much today. What did we cost? Two quarterfinal matches and the upper semis. In 5 hours. Ay, ay, ay. Oh boy. As because of the opener of our Protoss player, because it was a Forge-based opener instead, he actually has no map presence. So 0 map presence from the side of Tim. Gypsy is actually able to take a faster third base as a result. So greedier play out of our Terran. We'll get away with it. So we're seeing a weird dynamic where early on we see the Terran with map control instead of the Protoss. As Tim is trying to break out. Oof. Does tank some of the mines. Factory is now finishing up, I would imagine. First map was Polestar. Oh, there you go. Right there, the factories. So what was this map again? This was Dominator, yeah. We'll slowly learn the maps and then never cast Brood War again. We'll But yeah, from here we have just been building up, just saturating on 3 bases. The tanks are amassing. It was mech, of course, as we have extra factories finishing up from the side of Gypsy. I'm most curious into how Tim has been taking. We actually haven't seen the main base of Tim in quite some time, so I don't know. Like, are we working towards a Robo again? Are we working towards a Citadel into Charge? A Templar Archives? We haven't seen... We have not panned to the main in like 2 minutes for Tim. But Havard, what's he up to? I mean, now we know he went Robo into Observatory. He has the Observer. I feel like this is how people used to cast back in the earlier days of Brood War, where you could only do like vodcasts of like Korean broadcasts. So you have to rely on their observing. Okay, Citadel's now on the way. So we're taking up into Zealot Legs. From here into potentially a Templar Archives. So again, a much slower game, a much slower start. But of course, Gypsy, he got his third base that much faster, so that should translate into a larger army soon. Once his base kicks in, then he can afford the factories. There we go, 4 factories on the way. But I didn't realize how much slower paced this is. This isn't necessarily indicative of other matchups, of course. But much slower paced. Even compared to SE Evo as well. True. As we are pushing out, I believe Zealot Legs should be done. So we're moving on with the Mass Gateway Army. The tank count isn't quite there yet for Gypsy, so Gypsy's in trouble. Can we break through? Can he break through the tank lines? Oh, tanks that just now sieging up. Okay, they're just now sieging. Boys are being pulled to buffer. We gotta pull the boys. And again, there's 3 tanks left. Only 3 tanks remaining. Gypsy was just a little bit too greedy. Again, he delayed his factories in favor of the 3rd CC. And he will lose the final tank. Every tank goes down. There's 1 tank left. And Tim's done it. Tim, he does it. He breaks through. Breaks into the natural. Tanks, they barely do get away. Gets one. Takes down the final tank. And so do all the SCVs. And again, it just took a little bit too long here for Gypsy to get online. As you mentioned, he was being greedy. He went into the faster third base. The factories, they only just now finished. You can see half of them don't even have any add-ons. Oh, do you know what happened? He got caught with his pants down, Pappy. The pants were down. Even back in Brood War, they weren't wearing belts. Even back in Brood War. Smurge. GG gets called, and with that, Tim, he does bounce back. He does put a point on the board. We have a series. We have a series, Pappy. GG, well played. Again, Gypsy just getting caught being a little bit too greedy. Wasn't quite set up for it. Wasn't quite ready for the push. The timing. His factories were just finishing up. And with that, we have a series. Let's go. I wasn't too opposed to Gypsy going for the faster third base the way that he did. I wasn't too opposed to it. Getting to the faster third and being greedy, but just maybe a step too far. This is just the main fight. Just the main fight. Where again, there were 6 tanks and like 3 vultures. And 2 of them, they came in a little bit late to the party as well. But GG. Oh, the pants. I think we contemplated making it an emote. But I don't know what the emote would look like. Oh no. No. You know, meanwhile we have the trophies on screen. We have the SC2 championship, which is the yellow one, and we have the Brood War champion, which is the right one. The green one. With the 2 trophies. Let's go. Oh yeah, pants on the duckling head. Yeah. True. He lost his pants. Where could they be? Where could they be? But here we go. Here we go. We're getting to our next game. In the top right hand corner, we have Tim. In the bottom left, we have Gypsy. And welcome one and all to what map exactly? I have no idea. Meanwhile, shout out to Aistan. Aistan. Gifted sub to Setsuna. Gracias, papi. Gracias. Aistan. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. No. So this wouldn't be... Is this Roaring Currents, maybe? No shot. No, not Roaring Currents. Is this Radon? Or Knockout? This looks like Radon. Okay. Or into Radion even, I should say. Meanwhile, Iceland giving a sub to Senjuas. Oh my god. Gracias, Iceland, gracias. As we are setting it with a proxy, Timmy does go into the center of the map, throws down the pylon. I believe this is a 4-player spawn map, so does throw it down dead set in the center, and we'll see if we can find, and we'll see how hard he commits as the gateways are being thrown down. Yo, can we flower? But just double checking, yes, 4-player spawn map, I believe. There we go, throwing down 2 gates. And he's scouting top left. So again, Timmy's still looking for his opponent. Looking for Gypsy. Does find an empty corner of the map. Now moving down. Just catching up. Oh yeah, we have our gateways, so it's also moving out. Tim, he does find Gypsy. Does find him. Finds him bottom left. Likewise, Gypsy's also still looking for his opponent. Gypsy has no idea what's coming his way. So no safety bunker. Thankfully, he's going for the factory follow-up, not CC. So playing it safe. First zealot has arrived. To see Tim showing his hand a little bit early. Proxy has been confirmed. And we have to pull the boys. So far, boys are being pulled. Zealots are trying to keep up. Oh! Gets a swipe off. Does get himself some of the Marines. One of the Marines does survive, actually. Nice control. Marine survives. Bunker is now done. And with that, so far, Gypsy, he's holding. Who was the second SCV? But the bunker just survived. Factory is done. And again, he should hold. Should hold here. We're getting up to 3 zealots. I mean, the zealots, they can still try to avoid the bunker and head into the mineral line. But now there's a vulture. The vulture should not be caught. Yeah, just getting free damage. Zealot tries to get in. But again, this is looking dire. As time goes on, now we have more vultures massing up. And Tim, he's running out of steam. Running out of army. Not Tim. Not like this. Oh, he's trying to transition. Cybercrows on the way. The vultures, they move out across the map. They can actually just go for the mineral line. He's got options. Nice bio control. Saves all the Marines. We lose 1 SCV. And Gypsy, he has found Tim. Oh! Doesn't get surrounded. Catching out a couple of probes. There's no armies to defend back at home. Dragoons are now on the way. That's what, 3-4 probe kills, getting up to 5. No mining in the main base either. So much lost mining time. And GG. Yeah, GG gets called a critical damage, and with that, Gypsy, he will take the series 3-1. He will advance on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Gypsy as well as claim the series. Again, he had a very clean response to the proxy. So quick to set up his bunker, so quick to pull the boys, to get the bunker up to, and of course, fortunate as well that he was going factory before CC as well. So very safe build by Gypsy. So with that, he was able to shut down the aggression, shut down the proxy, counterattack, and end the game. GG. With that proxy, he does advance on. And, sorry, Gypsy does advance on. Shuts down the proxy. And I believe we have one more semifinals remaining here. It is going to be Artosis versus Striker. Oh, boy. As they might have an interview. See Tempo in the background. Let's go. Este Tempo. But they might have a winners interview, and I believe after this, it's going to be Artosis and Striker facing off. Artosis is Terran, Striker is Zerg. Oh, TVZ, okay. TVZ back. As I believe this is Gypsy. Ah, let's go. Unfortunately, we didn't have audio for the interview, so we're going to be going on a break. When we come back, we should have our Toasted versus Striker, followed by Trigger versus Mixu. We'll get there, Pappy. We'll get there. But for now, we are going on that break. Take this time to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, drain your disruptors, massage your marines, and we'll see you guys soon after the break. See you soon, Pappy. See you soon.